Darkest Dungeon 2 is a gothic roguelike game that has been in early access for roughly 2 years. It released its full version 1.0 this week. As the sequel to the original Darkest Dungeon, the second entry continues the gothic roguelike in full force. Not only having the return of fan favourites such as the Vestal and the Flagellant, who is now undead, but also adding new heroes to the mix such as the Plague Doctor and the Highwayman. Darkest Dungeon 2 is a challenging game that will test your skills with tough decisions in order to survive. A launch trailer released showing a peek of what lies ahead for these troubled heroes, including a new vehicle stagecoach which gives options of which path to take, with encounters such as Assistance Encounter. We get a look at some of the effects of battle, including hatred among the group. The game is now available on PC via Steam and the Epic Game Store. You can check out more of the news in this video in the link in the description below. Warner Bros. Has announced this week that the latest set of sales for Hogwarts Legacy, the open-world action RPG, has now surpassed 15 million units sold with a gross of $1 billion. These sell figures covered the latest quarter for platforms PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, as well as PC. The news was announced after the launch of the title on PS4 and Xbox One this May. In an earnings call, Warner Bros. Discover CEO David Zaslav shared the figures explaining this is the company's fifth $1 billion plus gaming franchise. Other franchises in the billion and over club include Mortal Kombat, Game of Thrones, LEGO Games, and DC. Hogwarts Legacy still has one more platform planned for this year, which is the Switch, which launches on July 25th. If you're currently casting spells and exploring the magical school of Hogwarts, be sure to drop by our wiki for all the latest info. You can also check out our latest guide covering useful tips and tricks for combat on our channel. Paradox Interactive's last foray into the 4X genre, Age of Wonders 4, has seemingly performed extremely well. According to both SteamDB as well as the official press release, the game has sold quite a lot of copies. The SteamDB Twitter account posted this week that the game has become the top seller for the week 23. This beat the Steam Deck Star Wars Jedi Survivor and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. For those unfamiliar, Age of Wonders 4 is a follow-up to the 4X Fantasy Strategy series. The game sets you to create and manage your own kingdom while expanding, exploring, exploiting, and exterminating. What sets the game apart though is that you can fully create your own faction. The Age of Wonders series combines elements of turn-based gameplay with strategy. In this new entry, players will be introduced to more strategy RPG elements. Age of Wonders is available on PC, PlayStation 4 and Xbox Series. Bad news for Hollow Knight fans, it seems you'll be waiting a little longer for the sequel Silksong. Developer Team Cherry announced a quick update on the Metroidvania side-scroller, shared that it won't be coming in the first half of 2023. The scope of the game has become quite a large project, and the extra time will be used to polish up the game, squashing some of those bugs, hopefully not the Hornet herself. The tweet then ends with the assurance that the details will be shared as they get closer to the release. However, when that release will be specifically is anyone's guess right now. What's new in Hollow Knight Silksong? Just last year we got a surprise gameplay trailer for Hollow Knight Silksong at the Xbox Game Conference. There we saw tons of gameplay footage, both new and old. The game's protagonist Hornet was actually a mini-boss from the first game. She retains many of her abilities from the first game, but of course gets an entirely new arsenal to play with, and the Hornet is much faster than the Knight and makes use of much quicker needle attacks. She can also make use of her infamous Silk Thread AoE attack to slice everything around her. If you're eager to know more about Silksong, stay tuned to our wiki as we'll have all the latest info as it releases. The Western version of Lost Ark is still charging straight ahead with monthly meaty content updates. May comes packed with content such as the new warrior character, the Ebony Cube, new cosmetics, and more catch-up systems. Arguably the most exciting bit of content this May is the addition of the 5th warrior advanced class, the Slayer. She joins the Berserker for the warrior classes. While they both have gigantic swords at the ready and they rage a lot, they are quite fundamentally different except in the fact that they can deal a great deal of damage. Her unique class identity abilities are called Burst Mode and Bloodlust. Burst Mode can be triggered once the Lost Ark Slayer's Fury meter has filled up and is essentially a buff that makes her even more deadlier. She also gets a powerful area of attack skill that slices and dices with impunity. The Ebony Cube is a consolidation of the game's existing Boss Rush and Cube events, both of which require special entry tickets. Combining them into one activity is intended to help solve the grind and the amount of activities players need to do in order to keep up with the Great Treadmill. You can check out more about Lost Ark in our latest article, May Update, and on our Lost Ark wiki. A major launch this week was for The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. It arrived with a brand new trailer ready to tug at our heartstrings. Following a more mature player's journey home from work, and ultimately getting out its copy of Tears of the Kingdom after a long day. It previews some of the new features such as the Ultra Hand ability, which is used to create a fully functioning 3-logged raft in the example. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is one of Nintendo's biggest games, that's both in terms of gameplay options as well as file size. The recent gameplay demo shows off tons of new things that Link can do, such as literally sticking anything together. As long as an item is not nailed down, you can combine it with something else and even create unique and often impractical weapons. The game also receives some quality of life improvements compared to the previous titles, such as a way to keep track of recipes with recipe cards in a sort of cookbook. This could make it easier to make the right delicious dishes instead of the more dubious kind. Well, only if you want to do that is. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is now available exclusively on the Nintendo Switch. If you're adventuring across Hyrule, be sure to take a gander at our wiki. Also this week was the developer update for Diablo 4. Kicking off this weekend is the Server Slam, which will test the server's capacity with letting the floodgates open to all players. But before that, Blizzard had another update to talk about the season post-launch support and also preview some cosmetics. They confirmed many things, specifically the seasonal model, the distinction between free and paid battle passes and more. The release of Diablo 4 in early June won't mark the start of the seasonal model. Instead, Blizzard plans to kickstart the game's Season 1 mid to late July instead. Seasons in Diablo 4 will have an overarching seasonal questline that follows the period's overall theme. Accompanying this will be what's called the Seasonal Journey, which is similar to Diablo 3's Conquest. We also get to see Diablo 4's Season tab, which showcases the season's themes as well as cosmetics. Seasonal blessings, at least initially, will be XP, gold and elixir boosts, as well as increases to material salvage chances. They can also be purchased with a currency called Smouldering Ashes. We also got a slight update to the mysterious new The Witcher title that will bring multiplayer to the fantasy RPG world, which has just finished mapping out its new framework according to the developer CD Projekt Red. In case you missed it, the Witcher franchise has multiple titles in the works. This includes a remake of the original The Witcher, previously under the name Project Canis Majoris, and Project Polaris. But today we got more details about the multiplayer-based title, Project Sirius. Yet to have its official name, Project Sirius remains under a veil of secrecy. One thing we do know is that CD Projekt Red have announced the new framework for the game is now finished. Hopefully this means The Witcher Project Sirius will fare better than Cyberpunk 2077's launch. The title is being developed under the Molasses Flood studio. It's unclear if the new direction means the game will remain a multiplayer title, or whether this has redirected its course, changing that too. Project Sirius is currently in development.
Well, that's it for the Week in the Wikis. Please join us again next week for yet another great week of gaming. Remember to check out our VIP program for some exclusive supporter benefits. And budding writers should take advantage of our Become an Author initiative. Thanks again for being part of this great community. Keep checking in with us with news, reviews, YouTube streams and vids, and general wiki goodness.